Good morning guys and welcome back to the channel. Another episode of Tech Tuesdays today. So I know we missed one last week, but what I want to talk about today and the main focus we're going to be looking at is putter path. So what I see a lot of times when people come for lessons is we've either got a stroke that's cutting across the ball or we've got a stroke that's glancing out to the right. So obviously if our putter path is going either left or right, that's going to affect the strike, it's going to add spin to the golf ball, and then it's going to make it very hard to judge distance control, very hard to start the ball on line, and as a result just very hard to obviously hole more putts. So what we've got today here is, it's a Yes, it is called the Trueplane. So you've probably seen this, and again a lot of tour players use similar versions of this, and we can use it out on the putting green. It does have holes for tees to go in, so you can set it up on the putting green, on a breaking putt, on a straight putt, on any kind of putt. So obviously the design of this now, as you'll see, we'll make some strokes on there now, is to try and keep your putter on the black line here on there. So your putter's going to be working a little bit up on the way back and a little bit in, and then on the way through again it's going to go up and inwards. So this is very much for those people who have, the guys who have got told for years that straight back, straight through stroke is what we're looking for, which, as we know and I've gone through before, is very much a myth. It's something that obviously people get told a lot. It's very old school. To get the putter obviously to work straight back and straight through, we would need the shaft to be vertical, go straight into the middle of the putter, and we'd be able to move that straight. Again, that's why people sometimes use obviously the full length putters. You can get that shaft more vertical, you can try and get that putter working straight back, straight through, with not a lot of face rotation. As we know, obviously with this, and we've talked through this before, is because of the lie angle, this putter is always going to have arc on there. So we're going to have a slight arc depending on obviously which hosel you've got on your putter. Some will encourage more arc, some will encourage less. But it's again down to mechanics. You might have something that's designed to have a lot of arc, but depending on what your body's doing, you might have a relatively straighter arc. But that putter will always work a little bit in on the way back and a little bit in on the way through. We shouldn't see that putter working out and across, or the same in to out. So this here, it's a very good training aid, but what I see a lot of times is obviously people want to use it too much and they become reliant on that. And the biggest problem I see with amateurs is obviously this isn't like a normal putt. So obviously we're not going to have this on the putting green when we're on the golf course. And what I see people do is they put too much pressure onto there and they're really using it and they're really fighting against that. Obviously what happens then, the hands start to get low and it starts to go. So all we want to use it for is a guide. So obviously it needs to be a guide, it needs to be a reference that, okay, yeah, it's on there and it's staying on there, but I'm not pushing it back against that to force it onto that. Because obviously then when we go onto the green, we're going to start to see your stroke drops straight inside. So if you do use one of these, or if you are thinking about buying one, or you have one anyway and don't use it, think about that. We don't want to be adding pressure to the plane, obviously, because then that's going to get your putter working inside when we go back to normal. So, as normal, I'm going to line the balls up as I do this, just again to get good feedback. In I come, and from here, hit that putt. So again, when you come in here, I like to put something on the outside. So even if it's an alignment stick, just something as a reference that we can get that ball put exactly where we want it to be. So obviously the most annoying thing about this training aid is when putting the ball down, you never know how close or how far away to put it without your putter being there. So if you put an alignment stick on the outside or a club, you can get a reference of where to put the ball each time, and then we can set that up. So then from here, it's going to be staying on that black line. And as a result, we'll come off with a perfect roll. Unfortunately, I need to roll the mat today as it's moving a little bit right to left. So obviously this is going to be something that you will use in your block practice, so something that you would use when you've gone for a practice session, if you've got a mirror, or if you're really struggling with your stroke, you might get one of these to obviously stop that movement off. So obviously let's just get a few close-ups now of how it's going to work and how that putter works. So as you can see, as I come in here now to line that ball up, I can place that in the middle. And it's easier when I come in and get set up, but you'll see obviously how the putter's now going to work up that black line if I just rotate back, and then on the way through exactly the same. So you'll see how it works up the white line and down. If you're somebody who starts to pick the putter up, it'll start to come off. Again, if you start to lose connection with your arms, you'll start to see that your putter will move off, hit it, and it'll be all up and down. So obviously the feedback's great. Obviously what we don't want to do is put too much pressure on there, like I see when people first get on it. If you don't have the tees in, it's good feedback, because obviously if you put too much on, you'll start to see that move backwards. Again, on the way back, if you're trying to force that inside, you'll see that your putter will come off there. So the feedback on there is very good. If we don't use the tees, we can then be specific on what we're working on. Again, this is for either of you. So if you're somebody who obviously works the putter too far inside, then that's perfect, because you'll get some feedback of moving it. You'll obviously have to feel that it's a little bit lighter when it's on the board. If you're somebody who works away, you'll start to see that straight away. From this angle, you'll be able to see now how it works the putter on a slight arc on the way back. And as I come through, you'll see it has a slight arc on the way in. So my wrist angles aren't changing. I'm just letting that stay nicely on there, rotate through, and you'll see how it arcs in and arcs in on the way through. So guys, you can see there, you can also work on breaking putts. So I've actually set up a putt here on the indoor mat for us, and you can see we can set that up so it aims a little bit right, and then we can just hit putts. So what I see a lot of times, people practice on straights, on straights, on straights, on straights. As soon as you get onto the course, obviously you don't have many straight putts. So practicing something like this, if you did get one of these, or if you do have one, on breaking putts is going to help you with your stroke. Obviously, most of the time I get people come that obviously say, oh, I struggle on breaking putts, and the stroke starts to get a little bit guided. This is something obviously that you can put down there, work on your right to left, start to get your setup consistent, start to get your stroke consistent, and see any patterns that you might be seeing. Obviously if we start to move this, again, if you don't put the tees in, you can really get feedback if you're pushing that and adding too much pressure. That might be what you're doing on the golf course when you haven't got this. So obviously it gives you great feedback, gives you something to work on and to practice on. So guys, that's a quick video there. Obviously another training area that we can look at, something that's going to help you with your stroke. So again, stopping that stroke working left or working out to the right. We're going to get more centered strikes on the putts. We'll be able to start the ball online, control your distance, and again, hopefully get rid of any three putts, but also start to hole the shorter ones more often and start to lower that handicap. Guys, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed that. Comment below any other training aids you want me to go through, any ones that you've got that you want me to have a look at, and we'll try and go through those, and I'll tell you how to use them and obviously what it's going to help you with overall. As for now guys, I will see you again on, well, I'm going to be back tomorrow, so we're going to be looking at some chipping tomorrow, and then I'll be back on Thursday and Friday this week. So I do apologise, last week we didn't get many done. I was very busy at work. Obviously, hopefully I can get a few more videos out. Obviously I've got mid-handicap Dave coming in again early on Wednesday morning, so we're going to get some filming done. We're going to be looking at the stats that we got from his first round. We're then going to be looking at his putting. So the first thing up is his putting. So we're going to be working on obviously having a look at what his stroke's doing, seeing how we can improve. And I know Dave's been talking about getting a new putter, so we're also going to potentially look at doing a putter fitting. From there, obviously we're going to look at the rest of his game, so hopefully that can help you. Anything you want to see in that series, comment below. More than likely I'll have the one and only James Robinson on at some point, thrashing him again. Thanks for watching, see you then.